Click on record. All right, perfect. I think it should be recording now. I don't know where the button is, but I think it is. All right, well, thank you all for joining this evening. We really appreciate it. Like I had said a few times, if you just got on, before I go ahead and get started and before I change this slide, if you want to go ahead and check in at that rightatschool.com/districts, you can be entered in for a free registration. It's also in the chat box. If you want to go ahead and click on the chat box, you can go ahead and do that. But I want to thank you guys all for taking time to join this virtual parent information night. We're thrilled to have you, and we are so excited to be partnering with Battleground. To kick us off this evening, we have Mike Machard. He's the Director of Instructional Leadership on this call with us this evening. So Mike, I'm going to go ahead and let you do a quick introduction and kind of kick it off.
Yeah, thank you, Cindy. Good evening, parents and Battleground community. I just wanted to start with saying how excited that we are to announce this new partnership with Right at School, a nationally recognized school enrichment provider. Every fall and throughout the course of the year in my role as really I oversee all of the primary schools, I get calls throughout the year of, do you offer before or after school care, or are you running, any summer camps that would help my family with those types of situations? And up until this point, I've had to tell people no that we were working on it, but this partnership will allow us to better meet the needs of our community, and so we couldn't be more excited to offer this opportunity in the fall to our kids and our families.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. My name is Cindy Lawson, just in case you guys want to know. I'm the Senior Director of School Partnerships with Right at School, and I actually have the privilege of working with superintendents all across the country, but my territory is primarily west of the Mississippi, and I actually reside in California. But our local team, we have Tiffany Bliss, if you want to introduce yourself. She's our Regional Director for the state of Washington. So Tiffany, you want to say hi and say something?
Yeah, hi everybody. I oversee the state of Washington, part of Texas and Georgia. I've been with Right at School for about 4 years now in the regional director position. And so it's been fun to watch and grow Right at School, especially in the state of Washington.
And then Courtney is one of our area managers in Washington. Courtney, are you on? Did you want to say hello as well?
Yeah, hi, I'm Courtney. I am also in Washington, and I am an area manager over in the Puyallup School District.
Perfect, thank you. So again, before I change this slide, I'll do it one last time. If you just joined, go ahead and please check in and register to be entered in for a free registration. And that's the last time I'm going to say it. I'll try and remind you at the end, and we'll put it in the chat box. So I'm going to ask for a little bit of forgiveness up front. This is new to me. This virtual world is new. As you saw, for those of you who are on early, I got a little alert saying I couldn't share my screen, so I was freaking out. So please be patient with me. As if there's any technical issues, I think we should be good, but just in case, I'm asking for forgiveness and your patience up front. Out of respect for everybody's time, I really want to keep it to an hour. I know it's a Wednesday evening. Some of you still got to cook dinner. So if it's okay, I'd like to get through the presentation and answer all questions at the end. Hopefully the presentation will answer most of your questions, but if not, go ahead and use the chat icon along the bottom. I think it's on the bottom of your screen. Use the chat icon along the way. And then we'll get your questions at the end. I've just found that if we try to answer questions throughout the presentation, we never get through the presentation in an hour. And as I said, I really would love to respect your time. So if you're okay with that, let's go ahead and get started. Tonight's topics, we're going to talk a little bit about Right at School. Who is Right at School? Who's this company? What makes Right at School so different? Talk a little bit about our tuition. That's the 21-22 school year. I apologize. I did not catch that one, but it's a 21-22 school year. We're going to talk about safety, curriculum, talk about our staff, and leave it open for any questions and discussions. But some of you might want to know, who is Right at School, right? So let me tell you a little bit about how Right at School became of existence. Our founder, CEO, Dr. Mark Rothschild, walked into his daughter's after-school program one day and saw her eating Doritos and watching a movie. That had happened a few times when he'd walked in. So having his doctorate in education, he just knew he could do something better. So in 2010, he started Right at School. Since then, we now service over 30,000 students daily in over 400 schools, working with over 75 school districts across the country. Our Washington partners, in case you want to know where we're at in Washington, include Renton, Bethel, Puyallup, Federal Way, Fife, Stillicum, Auburn, Deeringer, Ording, Highline, Enumclaw, Edmonds, and most recently we signed an agreement with Bellevue. So we're really excited about our partnerships and now in Battlegrounds. So we're really exciting to now be in this Vancouver area and hopefully start growing out here. You know, our mission is really to inspire a love of learning, support schools, and give parents peace of mind. Something that we're really proud of, we were recently named the after school provider for AASA. And those of you who might want to wonder what AASA, it's the National School Superintendent Association. So it's a really nice stamp of endorsement. So now we're going to show you a brief video about the day in the life at Right at School today, what it looks like today in COVID world. All right, let me. Okay, I have learned two things. One, I can't mute when, whoops. I can't go on mute when I am showing a video because it mutes you all. And two, I don't know what these scribbles are on the screen. So I'm not really sure. Does anyone know how to get rid of that? I don't know. Did I do something where I have a cursor where I, does anyone know? Oh, maybe I did this drawing thing and I need to, I'm not really sure how to delete it. But Tiffany, if somebody knows how to delete all that stuff, that'd be fantastic. Hopefully it doesn't, you guys can still see the screen, but looks like a little kid scribbled all over that. So I apologize. Again, I did ask for forgiveness up front, right? So we'll talk a little bit about, Tiffany, if you get that in the chat box, maybe you can just let me know what I did and how I can get it off. But I'll keep going and talk a little bit about what makes Right at School so different. We have a local team. Everyone we hire is local area managers, our regional directors from Washington. All of our educators will be from your community. We're actually going to be interviewing all of the local classified staff coming up, some of the parapros. We're going to be doing a presentation with them later in this month. Everything we do, we hire all qualified license approved staff. We follow health and safety practices, obviously even following all the CDC and COVID guidelines right now. So it's been heightened. Our curriculum, and I get to talk about that and how it aligns to state standards and our disguised learning approach. We get to talk about our flexibility, how we're open for any day school is allowed in session, early start, late start, non-school days, break weeks, summer, spring break, any day that school is in, we're typically there. We have flexible options for families. We want to provide equity and access, and we know not every family has to work 5 days a week. So I'll talk about that. Talk about our discounts for families, drop-in and punch card options, our online portal. Everything we do is online. So some of you have already registered, so you might have already seen that, where you can get on, make payments and schedule changes, and talk a little bit about our customer service department and how they're available for you for any questions that you may have. All right, so first, I get to talk a little bit about pricing. And so there's a lot of information on this page, and hopefully you can see it. Tiffany, did you find out did anyone say how I can get rid of all of this?
Not yet.
All right, is it still on there?
Oh,
Cindy, I
yes.
think we're good. Just go for it. You can see through it.
Sure. Hopefully it's just, oops, let me go back. All right. Okay, so obviously we understand the 21-22 school year could look and feel a little different. Obviously we're hoping it goes back to more of a traditional come this fall, but obviously we don't know. And so our goal is to provide flexibility and peace of mind for district employees and families by offering them options for every scenario. Our plan right now is to be at the 7 primary schools and Amboy Middle School. So we will service all K-8 families. It will be, registration is open for all K-8 families. So you will see, if you go to register, every school is listed on there. Every K-8 school is listed on there, but it will say like, housed at this primary school, housed at this primary school, with the exception of Amboy. So just so you guys know, that is the plan. And you're going to see on here the flexibility. If you only need before school care, you can come 1, 2, 3, 4 days before school. You need after school only, you can come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a middle school because middle schools get out an hour before primary, right? So we have an option for middle school families if they need 1 day a week, 2 day, 3, 4, or 5. So again, providing that flexibility for family and to provide you and give you options. We also have discounts for siblings, 10% off for any sibling, 20% off for any family who's on free and reduced lunch. We also take government subsidy. So if you're on, Tiffany, is it DSHS, or any state subsidy, we also accept that. And, we also have some financial assistance available. So I just wanted you to see that, there's that flexibility there, and you could change your schedule every month. So, this month you might need 3 days a week. Next month you need 5 days. The following month you don't need any days because your child's going to, a camp or science camp or something like that. So just know that you have that flexibility, and that flexibility is out there for families. Next, let me put this. We're going to talk a little bit about health and safety. Obviously, that is most important these days. With COVID, we have been following all CDC guidelines. We've been running programs since March of 2020. We ran them for essential personnel camps. We've done every scenario out there. We've done hybrid, distance learning, all of it since March of last year. But just so you know, every day right now, these are the things that are happening. You will have wellness checks. So staff and children get daily temperature checks and assessments for any symptoms. Hygiene, hand washing all throughout the day, and that we ensure that they're doing it for at least 20 seconds several times throughout the day. Grouping and physical distancing, we're going to do our best to group children by ages, and those children will stay with those same cohorts throughout the day. We've even created activities that will support physical distancing. Staff and student face masks. Staff are required to wear face masks as of today, and so are students. Obviously, things are changing by the minute, so we'll be sure to communicate to you as those changes occur or as they arise. But please make sure that you provide your child with a face mask every day. We will have some available, but if you can bring your child to school with face mask, that'd be appreciated. Children will all have their own art supplies and personal supplies. So each child will have their own personal supply kit, so they're not touching other kids' stuff. And as I'd mentioned before, we follow all CDC sanitation guidelines and have increased our sanitation practices. Tiffany or Courtney, do you guys want to answer what the current staff to student ratio is right now? Traditionally, it's 15-1, but during COVID, has that changed?
It is 15-1 at times, depending on space availability. It could be down to 10-1. It just depends on how much social distancing space we have in the spaces that we have the option to use.
Okay. Perfect. So if things go back to traditional, it'll be 15-1. If not, it could be a 10-1 ratio, and only 10 kids in one space at any given time. All right,
Cindy,
so
we have a few questions in the chat. Should we answer those now or wait until the end?
I think if we can wait until the end, that would be fantastic. Just because if we start answering now, we might not get to the end.
Great, thank you.
Our time. So if that's okay, we'll go ahead and get through it, and we'll answer all those questions as soon as, or Tiffany or Courtney could be answering them as we go. Obviously, safety is number one to us. Before we hire, before anybody can even get into our database, they have to go through a whole vetting process with FBI, BCI background checks, sex offender, child abuse index, registry, all of that. So we have to get an extensive background check done before we can even hire them into our system. Once they are hired, we would put them through training. When we get the children in our program, we have check-in and out systems. Like we don't just let anybody pick up your children. They have to be on the emergency form. If they're not on the emergency form, they will not be allowed to pick up your child. We check IDs as well. And sometimes, if we haven't seen mom or dad for the first time, we will make sure that we check their IDs when they come in. We also do, sign in and outs and head counts with children. So when we do like a 15-20 minute check-in with children, it's a face to name. It's not, okay, we have 20 kids in the program. We have 20 kids on our list. No, it's Johnny's here, Allison's here, Juan's here. So you want to make sure that whoever's on our list, that we are checking the name with the child. We partner close with the district on any safety protocols. So whether it be emergency plans, lockdown drills, we communicate and try to be proactive as possible in partnership with the district and the schools that we are at. And we practice, it's ongoing practices. So we have to, for licensing, we have to do our own drills as well and to continue to practice for safety throughout the year. All right, so now we're going to show another little video. Let's see if that works, about kind of our back to school and how things look right now.
With a new school year just around the corner, we are thrilled to welcome you back to Right at School.
We've been working hard to develop fun, new activities to keep your kids excited about learning. But our top priority is, and always will be, safety for our students and our staff.
To make sure your kids are in a healthy, safe environment, we're administering daily wellness checks to everyone that enters the program.
To help protect our program space, we'll be conducting pickup and drop-offs outside. Only staff and students are allowed in our programs.
To minimize the spread of germs, staff members will be wearing face masks at all times, sanitizing surface areas often, and of course, washing hands a lot.
Curriculum is designed for social distancing. It's the same joy and fun you've always known, just 6 feet apart.
And to minimize contact between students, each student will have their own activity kit.
We know school's gonna look a little different this year, but we're here to make it as fun as ever.
We can't tell you how excited we are to welcome you back to school.
We know how to keep the risk factor low.
All right. So now I get to talk about the fun stuff. I get to talk a little bit about our curriculum. Our focus at Right at School is really building children up. We're here for the long game of education. So everything that we do is about empowering students with the attributes that we know as educators will continue to unfold throughout their lives. And so, we know the last thing a child wants to hear at 3 p.m. is, who wants to learn some more? No, they're like, no, we're done with school. We want to go have some fun. So every year, students get to enjoy fresh new curriculum that's been written by our curriculum experts who were former teachers and administrators. You can see in this slide right here that we have different themes. We have a bunch of different thematic units, and each theme consists of 2-week thematic units that focus on areas ranging from art to science to music to math. And then if you look on, let me go to the next slide, and you can see in this slide, for example, students are learning about Roman aqueducts. So they're applying their design thinking as they build and test their own design builds that have been built out of recyclables. We really want children to engage in hands-on activity. They just think they're having fun, and that's the whole concept. They think they're having fun, but what they don't know is there's actually a ton of learning happening, and that's why we call it disguised learning. Each one of the units that you saw in the previous slide has a curriculum guide. So we have a curriculum guide for every single one of those thematic units to set our educators and our children up for success. So there's a ton of learning happening. But again, they just think they're having fun. We even have social distancing because of this last year. We've created a ton of units that are all equipped with social distancing friendly games. So that's something that, you know, we've been practicing, and it's really important to us. And so now I get to walk you through kind of what a daily schedule looks like. Day in the life of Right at School. So children come in, you know, we make sure all children are accounted for because safety is first. Once we do attendance, we transition into, you know, take children to take the bathroom if they have use a restroom after school, and then we go into a healthy snack. So we go into healthy snack. After that, we go into town hall. That's really our chance to have a conversation. It's our family time. It's a chance to see what's going on in the community, what's going on in their classrooms, what special events are happening, you know, what service projects are going on. And then it also gives us a chance to talk about the curriculum that's going on in the afternoon and get them excited about it. Talk a little bit about what we did yesterday, talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing tomorrow. And then we have right moves. That's like 10 minutes to get that excess energy out. You know, whether it be yoga, outdoor games. We have these dice games where you roll dice and it's like you do push-ups, you do jumping jacks, you do whatever. It's just to get that heart pumping, that blood flowing for 10 minutes so they can sit down and get their homework done. So it's really important for us that they complete their homework. We know that children have so many things going on after school and after families pick up. They could be going to soccer, football, track, dance, ballet. So we want to make sure that their homework is completed while they're with us at Right at School. After homework, we go into a more vigorous fitness component. Anytime we can get children outside, we get them outside. We get them outside moving. We do some structured, unstructured games. We give them some autonomy. You know, we give them the opportunity to just kind of explore and have fun outside. Then we go into our curriculum, which I just talked about. After that, kind of children can decompress a little bit because usually families are starting to pick them up by that time. By the time we're done with all that, usually families are already coming in to pick up their children for the day.
Cindy, please excuse the interruption. For some reason, you got quiet on us. I don't know if you can move closer to your computer or.
Can you guys hear me now? Is that better or no?
Slightly.
Huh,
Is there a way for you to mute all participants too? Because maybe that will help sometimes.
I think I had them muted as they all came in.
Okay.
So that's weird. I don't know if it's, let me see if it's a volume thing for me. Let's see. Can you guys hear me better now?
A little. You might just have to speak up.
Okay, so I have to like get right up in there where you guys see my mouth. Oh,
Thank
okay.
you.
Well, I will get a little closer. Does this help at all? If not, I can give it over to Tiffany and she can finish the last slides.
No, it's much better.
No, this is good.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm pretty close, so no judgments, guys. All right. So when I talk about school and community connection, it's really important that we're entrenched in everything that goes on in the school day and in the community, even if it's all going to be virtual this year. So I think we're already going to be joining some kindergarten registration evenings in May. So anything we can join, anything that we can participate in, we do. We join the PTA or the PTOs. We provide free childcare during those PTA and PTA meetings for families. We attend every school event, every district event, whether it's we are doing face painting at the carnivals, pass out water during walkathons, whatever we need to do, because we know that the stronger our partnership is, the stronger our program is. So you will see us in the community wearing our Right at School shirts and participating in anything going on in the school. We also do a lot of things with families. You know, we have our own variety shows. You can see in these, in one of these pictures, I think it's in the lower corner, where we do variety shows for families. We come in, families participate, we write to the military, we do art shows. We also participate in assemblies and we'll give out awards for character and other things during the awards ceremony. And so there's a lot of things that we do and participate so that we can be a strong partner with the school and the school community. But really, we know we are nothing without our staff, right? So we try to hire the best staff. We're nothing without our people, and our staff come from three main sources. One being parapros or classified staff. A lot of times they already know the students, they're already in the school during the day. And so we can bring them into Right at School. They get our vigorous training. They get to work with the children. They already know their names. And so that's always a nice win-win. And anybody who works for Right at School gets 100% of their tuition covered if they have children in the program. So if you know of anyone who's looking for a position, please let us know, because if they work for us, they get 100% childcare discount. We also hire students who are going into education, people who are in college who want to be teachers, whether they're art majors, theater majors, education majors. You know, we know that oftentimes first-time teachers struggle with classroom management and curriculum implementation, and you get both of those. You get to practice both of those in our program. So it's a win-win when they're going to college and get to work into our program. And then they get to go back and work in the battleground community. So we love partnering with local colleges, and we love hiring people who want to work in education. And then finally, we get a lot of people who are retired teachers, you know, because teachers never retire. They, you know, and in our program, they get to turn that hat around. It's much more, it's not more frontal, it's much more experiential. They get to get down to the level with the children, and they get to have a lot of fun. So again, we'll have a lot of people who were once in education or retired and who work into our program now. You know, we really are happy to say that we have the highest employee retention in the industry. And we really think that has a lot to do with our training model. So you can see, once we have the best people, we train them thoroughly using our proprietary blended training model of both online and live training. These trainings include online assessments, in-person training, ongoing coaching and support, and continued professional development. Our training model was something, again, we're proud of. It was so regarded by the president of the National After School Association that she asked for us to partner with the U.S. Department of Labor to use it as an apprenticeship model for the entire after-school profession. So again, something that we're really proud of, and the reason why we think we have some of the highest retention in the industry. But really what matters most to us is what our people say and what our employees say. And 3 years in a row, 99% of our staff did a survey and said that they felt effective and confident in just 1 month into the job. So we know that's super rare. So it's something that we are really proud of. You know, we're nothing without our people, and we're, you know, like I said, we are here to hire the best. Now, with that being said, registration is open. It is open, and actually some of you have already registered without us even promoting that it being open. We had quite a few registrations when I looked today, so it's really exciting for us. So thank you for those of you who have registered. Those of you who have not, feel free. You know, this is for I think it's starting September 1st. Is that right, Michael? September 1st, 2021, first day of school?
Correct.
Okay, so that is the day we plan on starting, is September 1st. The more families we have pre-register early, or register early, not pre-register, the easier it is for us to figure out how much staffing we need, right? So what we don't want to do is staff for 30 kids and we end up having 60, you know, because the last, you know, few weeks of school, we get a ton of families enroll. So help us spread the word. We'd really appreciate it if you help spread the word, let families know we're here. We're going to be here in the community. We will be at all the primary and Amboy Elementary, or Amboy Middle, and we'll be servicing all K-8 students. So again, registration is open. And now, Tiffany, I'm going to leave it to you, since I don't know if you guys can still, it's hard to hear me still. I'm going to go ahead and have you go ahead and answer any questions that have been coming in along the way.
Yeah, Cindy, this first one might be for you. Do you happen to know what the pricing is for the punch card option?
I do. I have it right here in front of me. Punch card. So you can buy 10 before and after school for $386. So you can, it's $386, and you can buy 10 days of before and after school, and you can use that anytime you need it. You might take the whole year to use that, or you may use it within 3 months and need another one. So it's totally up to you, but that's the rate for the punch card.
So Cindy, can I ask a follow-up question to that? Should somebody choose the punch card option, do they have to notify Right at School ahead of time, or can they just drop their child off as needed?
Well, they would still need to register with us. So they would still need to register that we have, so that we have all the proper emergency information and licensing information in there. And then Tiffany, what is your, or Courtney, what is your protocol on how far in advance you need to know when there's going to be a drop-in?
Yeah, each site has its own email address and phone number. Once we get a little bit closer to it, we will share those with families. And then you would just email the site and let them know that you would like to use one of your punch card days so we can plan our staffing accordingly.
Terrific, thank you.
Yeah. Next question, do you have to commit to one level of care or can you combine? For example, if I only need before and after care 1 day a week, but a few additional before school hours on additional days, is that an option? Absolutely. So when you go in and register, you're going to register the before and after for your 1 day, then you're going to register for just that morning time for the additional days. Combine it in your checkout in your cart, and then you're registering for kind of that multi-staged enrollment level. I would also remind you, you can also change your schedule at the beginning of every single month. So if you need 5 days a week this month, but next month you might only need 3 days of care, you can go into it as long as it's before the 30th of the following month. So the 30th of the prior month, you can go in and change that schedule and adjust it as you need. Let's see. Our next question, if we register for morning only care, how does that work on days with no school and during breaks? What will happen for no school days, early release days, and break weeks, there'll be a separate registration for that. And so you will be paying for your morning care, and then there'll be an additional fee for early release, late start days, or no school days during break weeks.
And Tiffany, right now it's $25 a day. So you get a discount if you're already registered with us. So if you're already paying your tuition and already registered with us, it's $25 extra a day for a non-school day.
Perfect. And that goes into how much for non-school days like spring break or summertime? It's about $25 per day.
Yeah, and that's not summer. Summer is completely different because during the school year, you're already paying your tuition. So we try to keep those non-school days at a much cheaper rate.
Great clarification. And then the last one is, will the before and after school program start when the 2021 school year starts? Yes, that is our anticipated start date, would be that September 1st. And that's the last of the chat questions.
Yay. Well, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Can you or Tiffany maybe speak to the pricing compared to other programs that may be similar? Is there a way for you to do that, or are the prices comparable? I think that there might be people in the audience that would be thinking, how does this compare to?
Well, I know that there was SWCCC that was in a few of the schools previously, and I can tell you their before school rate was $420 for 5 days, and ours is $357. Their after school rate was $420, and ours is $357. And then their before and after school rate was $660, and ours is $594. So I think we're about 10% less than what they were currently charging. And obviously, if anybody has any concerns or there's any financial hardships, please let us know. Reach out to Tiffany, and she can definitely work with families. And if we find in the community that rates are different, that's what we had to go off, because that's what was in your community, and so those are the rates that we went off of. And obviously, we wanted to come in less than that, but we will be also looking just to make sure that we're always comparable and that we're not ever charging more than what the community would be charging. And we often try to come in less. It's our goal.
Courtney's numbers also, email address is also included on this. I'm going to add it to the chat box so that way you can copy it as well. I want to make sure if you have any questions after this that you can reach out to somebody directly. And I'm actually going on vacation next week, so I didn't want to leave families hanging. So Courtney has graciously offered to make sure that she has all the battleground information and she'll be able to support families in the next week should you have questions.
And once we hire a local area manager, which we're doing some final interviews in the next few weeks, we already have several candidates for the local area manager. We will make sure all of you get her information or his information, so that you can start reaching out to them as well. We just wanted to make sure that you had a contact who would be able to answer any of your questions.
Yep.
Cindy or Tiffany, can you speak to if a child has medical needs that need to be attended to while they're at program, how that might work?
Yep. Tiffany, you want to go ahead and answer?
Yeah, we are licensed by the Department of Children, Youth, and Families. So we abide by their regulations. And so we have the ability to administer medication for any student that has a need, whether that be, potentially a diabetes test, asthma, inhaler, EpiPens. Those are our kind of most common services that we do. But because we are bound by that, we don't use the same product or the same medication that the school district houses. So you do have to bring, if you have like a child who's on an inhaler, you'll have to have one at the school, but you'll also have to have one with right at school as well, because we just don't have the ability to share those. So, but otherwise we have the ability to administer it. We'll give you forms if you just let us know. And upon registration, it does ask some of those questions to try and trigger those forms to you ahead of time, so we can make sure we meet your child's needs.
Thank you.
Yeah. Will the program cap out at a certain number of students is the next question. So we will enroll to the space availability that we have, right? Right at School, we try not to cap our programs, right? And we're going to work really closely with Michael and his team to determine, if we have, 45 students and we're in a space that can house 50, when we get to that point, we're going to have conversations with the district to determine if we can grow that program or if we do have to cap it at that 50 number. And again, COVID and social distancing has thrown definitely some challenges our way this year, but each individual school, we've worked it out. And now the 3-foot rule is going into effect starting in really soon. So that will also give us a little bit more space availability. So our goal is not to cap, but we'll work really closely with the school district because it is on space availability within the school. Good question.
And just so families know, Tiffany and her team, and we've worked with district, we're licensing the entire school for the most part. Doesn't mean that all that space will be available, but that we want to make sure that we are agile and flexible. So if there's PTO meetings or PTA meetings that going on, that we have additional space that we've already licensed that we can go into.
There's another question. Do you give emergency meds to kids with the doctor's note? Yes, absolutely. We will go through the process individually with your family to go over the medication procedure for your child and/or allergy rescue medication, whatever your child's needs are. We will work with you one-on-one with that. After the program starts September 1st, will it be open year-round? Yes. So our goal is to be continuous year-round, including summer camps. We work really close with the district, right? It's going to depend on building availability, but our goal is to service families as many days of the year as possible. We are closed 7 major holidays, of course, and then additional days that the district might have other things happening, construction projects or things of that nature, but our goal is to be year-round.
Is it correct, Tiffany, that summer programs may be, at least in Battleground's case, a central location, a north end location, and maybe a south end location versus
Yes.
being open in every primary?
Yeah, that's actually a really good call. We are condensed down to locations for all no school days and camp weeks, winter break, spring break, and then any other no school days, we will condense down. Late start and early release days, we have to stay on site, right? There's no way to bus the kids anywhere, but we do reduce down on no school days. That's a great clarification.
And that's when Tiffany was mentioning we would work with you in the janitorial team to say in the summer, all right, where are projects going on? Where are, where there might be some cleaning happening? So, hey, what schools can we not be at? And so it might be 1 or 2 different schools every summer. It could be the same ones, but we will always try to find geographically central locations to service. And usually it's 1 or 2 camps that we would condense to in the summer. And we work with facilities around their schedule and what's going on.
The next question is, how do you handle unexpected weather-related school late starts and closures? Great question. So we're going to mimic the school district. So if the school district announces a 2-hour late start, our program will open 2 hours later than what we traditionally do. So if we opened at 7 a.m., then we would open at 9 a.m. on that late start day. So whatever the district does, we're going to marry and match that. And then if the school district decides it's going to close early, we actually are going to we will come on site to make sure that we can be there for the students, but we also will close down, right? Because if the district is closing the buildings, they don't feel it's safe for students and staff and other people to be on property. So we would also close down the sites.
And just so you guys know, I think it might have been on the pricing slide, but our hours of operation will be 6:30 a.m. till 6 o'clock p.m. And there's some flexibility. There might be a school or two that has a need till 6:30. I mean, we will do those one-offs, and there might be during the summer. Usually, our hours are 7 to 6. So we're very agile and flexible based on the needs of the community.
Very much so. The chat box, I think, is empty again.
All right.
What other questions?
Any other questions before I give you guys like almost 15-20 minutes back in your evening?
So Tiffany and Cindy, I know that you've put some information in there for our community so they can reach out to you, but I'm going to put my email as a school district point of contact for anybody that has questions. And, I can be working directly with school principals and with the Right at School folks to make sure that all of your needs are addressed in a timely manner. So I'm going to hit enter here. And if you want to save that email address, I can, like I said, help you in any way, shape, or form.
And we have a standing call with Michael every week. So we go through and can address any questions that he might even have as well on both ends. So him and his team has been fantastic.
I'll also say it's really easy to find Right at School on the school district website. I was there today and there it was. So that's really great. And then our Right at School customer service team is also available to help you as you need as well.
All right. If there's nothing else, I apologize for the scribbles. I mean, hey, it is a kid thing, right? So I guess it kind of fit right in. So apologize for that. And some of the not being able to hear me. I don't know what happened, but it's always something. So thank you guys so much. We look forward to meeting you in person one day, meeting your children in person. Please help us spread the word because we are new into the community. Any way that you can help us spread the word, we would be so appreciative. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Thank you for joining.
Right. Thank you.
Good night.
Everyone.
Thank you and goodbye.
Okay, bye-bye.